it's Lee from ColouringQueen.net, and I've got Elves in Wonderland today, which is the third colouring book by Marcus Chin. First of all, he gave us fairies in Wonderland, then he gave us mermaids in Wonderland, and now it's elves. And I've got to say that when he first said that the third book was going to be Elves in Wonderland, I thought, really? Not too keen. But as soon as I seen it, it is lovely. Now, he's sticking with the consistent theme that he's had throughout this series of books, which is to have a night and day theme. So, white background and a black background on the illustrations. So we start off with this very intricate elf, and that's what Marcus is known for. His work is sort of very different from other elves, fairies and mermaids that you might have seen. So we've got Elf in Wonderland to start us off on this double page spread, and that cover art I think is the favourite cover art of his books for me. Now, the binding is really stiff at the moment, so you've got to sort of put your finger in there and pretend that you're a muscle woman and clench your fingers until they go white, basically, to push them down. Unless you're stronger than me, and I'm not that much of a weakling, to be honest, but this binding is really quite stiff. So the paper is medium, it's white, it's very smooth, and as per his previous books, there's also an interaction element, so there's things to find along the way if you are so inclined. Now, I never ever bother looking for things in interactive colouring books. I find the task of choosing a colour hard enough without adding to my trauma of actually finding things. But isn't this gorgeous? There's all these lovely little candies and lollies and treats to eat. Beautiful lollipops. And these mischievous little elves. So some are double page spreads and then some are on a single page. Now, some of the line art doesn't seem as crisp as other parts. Like this part here seems a little bit more hand-drawn or sketchy than this part over here, which is far crisper. But it is a nice dull black and it's very readable. But for colourists that have a minor visual impairment, a lot of Marcus's work is very intricate and tiny. So I would just colour wash over that if your vision or your motor skills are giving you trouble. So this one's been positioned really nicely so that the duckies, or the little cygnets, away from that gutter there. So that's some smart thinking. But then, of course, this one goes over both. So you do have to, crack that spine and then it should start laying down so that you can colour in the ditch there. Now the pages are numbered down the bottom quite discreetly, and that's so that you can find all those interactive elements at the back of the book where there's a legend. So we've got gymnast elves and lovely flowers, and of course there's all these interaction instructions along the way. Now this one too is pretty good on the positioning, but there is a little bit of the house that's just here, which could have, been moved over a little bit onto this page, which would have made that image a little bit more easy to colour, but never mind. So I've got a big variety here. There's lots of metal things that you can colour in, wood. You've got your skin and hair, and a lot of people are always saying that there's never enough men in colouring books, and this one has a real array of men or little male elves in this colouring book. Now look at that lineup of bunnies. I mean, who could ask for anything better than that? We've got gorgeous little frogs over here as well, so frogs on tortoises. So very, very cute amount of animals and different activities, flowers. I think these little tiny things that might give me a bit of trouble, but I think I might colour wash over that, and then you can always just add in little bits afterwards. And this is absolutely gorgeous. I love this picture. So we've got little sewing elves making a gorgeous little dress. It's so sweet. Not a lot of backgrounds are in Marcus's work, so the focal point is actually the people or the fairy or mermaid. This looks like a sad little elf. He actually looks a little bit cranky. Cranky elf. So they're all out fishing today. And then after fishing, you go swinging in trees, which is quite adorable. Don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, going to the park and going on the swings was like my favourite thing in the world to do. Of course, I always wanted to go higher. I thought I could fly. So now we go in the night part of the book, and this is all comes with that pre-printed black background, which just looks stunning against the images. We've got our lovely feast. And this is really stunning. You could imagine that coloured in. What's good about this day and night theme is that they're different images in the night theme, so they're not the same. So some people do the day and then they just do a black background to get the night look, but he actually does a different set of illustrations. And look at this elaborate snowman. It's just amazing. So we've got our skating elves and our penguins drinking, and they've got a little fishy dinner. That is just so cute. Absolutely adorable. And you can see the progression. Normally I hate it when they've got their heads chopped off like this, but you can see the sort of progression down. Dancing elves. Now this also comes in postcards as well, if you want something smaller. And look at this. This would be my idea of heaven. When you walk up, all these beautiful cakes and lollies and whatnot, you get to this gorgeous ice cream sundae. I mean, what could be nicer than that? Well, except for the walk up to the ice cream sundae. So we've got our dog sled and our beautiful campfire. These marshmallows seem to be absolutely massive for these elves. And here's some more of our interactivity and our little games, little maze, and this gorgeous image to end it. So there we have it, Elves in Wonderland by the very talented Marcus Chin, the third in his Wonderland series of colouring books. Until next time, happy colouring.